So in the Dutch election, it's a bit weird to say who's the winner and who's the loser, because the so-called winner, indeed, he has lost 5% of the vote. Mark Rutte, the man, the former prime minister, who is most possibly going to be the next prime minister. Anyway, his party has lost 5% of the votes, but he has won the election. Is the only party going over the thread of 20% of the votes. All the others are really far from this score, so he can actually claim himself as the winner of the election. Among the losers, for sure, we have to name Geert Wilders, the xenophobic and let's say extreme right party leader. The eyes of the whole world, let's say, it was the first time for a Dutch election, were pointed at him. He aimed at being at becoming the first, the bigger party. He missed this score, even if with the 13% of the votes, he raised his score, he increased his score from the last election of the 3%. But he missed his main goal to become the prime minister, to become the most voted party. So he's absolutely a loser. But the bigger loser of the election was the Labour Party of Holland, the PvdA, which was at 25% of the votes in 2012. And now went down to the 6% with a decrease really not seen before in the Dutch election, and also rarely seen in the whole European politics. It happened something like it has happened to the Greek PASOK, this Labour Party, maybe because they were in charge of economy and finance in the Dutch government. And they executed all the, let's say, austerity plans from the European Union. The finance minister of Holland was Jeroen Dijsselbloem. And so this person, this politician, is one of the pillars of the austerity guidelines from the European Union. Maybe because of this, the Dutch voters punished them. And so the Labour Party, which was in the government coalition, now it's absolutely irrelevant in the Dutch politics, and is probably really the bigger loser, or the biggest loser of the vote. No, I don't think so, because. The Wilders Party and the Green Party really have different electorates. Their voters come from very different parts of the country. The Wilders voters come from the rural area, let's say, from the countryside, which in Holland is not like the American countryside. Obviously, it's very urbanized farmland, industrial, wealthy, like that. But they don't live in the city, in the urban, more globalized areas, let's say. Maybe they live in some suburbs, like it happens in America sometimes. They live in the suburbs of the bigger cities, and they are afraid their suburbs become like the multi-ethnic neighborhoods of the main Dutch cities. But the Green voters, instead, they come from the urban areas. So they are two really different kind of electorate, let's say. The Wilders voters, hoped to take voters from the discontent for the old government, but that was not an anti-establishment push, because okay, the Greens are led by a 30 years old leader, but it doesn't take anti-establishment stances. Yes, he's probably more radical. He's more ecologist, but he also has friends in the Dutch establishment. Like, for example, in the family De Mol, these TV producers, very famous also in Italy. They are the owners of the Endemol. They produce the Big Brother, for example. They are kind of close to the Green Party, for example. So the Dutch voters, most of all, punish the old government, but not taking an anti-establishment stance. They try to find new parties, but these new parties are not like, let's say, in a Bernie Sanders style to revolve completely the national politics, or to take, let's say, some revolutionary stances like could be Donald Trump on some topics in America. So it has been like always not a very a revolutionary vote, but kind of conservative after all. Because yes, new parties got votes, but the political system of the country wasn't changed so much. Now, maybe it's not the end for sure. As we said before, he missed his main goal, like to be the biggest party, and to become like the probable prime minister. But anyways, he increased from 10 to 13%, so he still exists in the Dutch politics. In Holland, there is a proportional system, yeah, a plurality system, in the English way. So, like it was in the First Republic in Italy, let's say. So, even if a party doesn't reach their goal, they can anyway survive in the dynamic of the system, because it can be useful, for example, for some government coalition, because it's gonna be hard now for Mark Rutte with a system so full of parties. There were 28 parties in this Dutch election to form a consistent government, a steady government for the future. So is the second party, so he still has a voice, as a call in the Dutch politics. So I think he's gonna be there for a while again. Yeah, it has been said that it's the first time that you need at least 4 parties to find a majority in the Dutch parliament. So you not only need a political ability, but also a mathematic ability, let's say. Anyway, the right-wing or the center-right-wing parties got more votes than before in this election overall. So it's still possible for Mark Rutte to form a center-right coalition without including Geert Wilders, because the electoral campaign of Wilders has been really strong, really loud, really let's say populistic in its nationalistic and anti-Islamic, anti-immigrants aspects. So after a while, Mr. Rutte said, okay, I'm not going to consider Geert Wilders for a government anyway. So after this promise, he is forced to have talks with the other parties. But the other parties are so many that they know now Mark Rutte needs them to form a government. So they're probably going to raise the cost of their support for the new government. And many Dutch analysts and observers say that it's probably not sure then before the summer the government will be ready, because the talks and the negotiation are going to be really complicated. Anyway, the Dutch voters and the Dutch public and the Dutch politicians are quite used to this situation. They are pragmatic, so they're not going to be upset from this situation. They're gonna accept it. they're used to multi-party system, and we are just going to wait some months more, like it happened in Belgium, maybe less. But it will take 3 or 4 months to form a government in this situation. Yes, indeed. A lot of European leaders really hurried up saying that this was a vote for Europe, that this vote made Europe stronger. Indeed, for sure, a victory of Geert Wilders would have made Europe much weaker, especially on the verge of the celebration of the treaties in Rome. But we also have to consider that the former government, liberal laborist, following the European economic rules, has lost the half of their voters. Mark Rutte liberals, but 20% less for the laborists, and they were really following the economic European rules. So in a way, this is a defeat not for the idea of European Union, but for the current politics and policies of the European Union. So in a way, the Dutch voters clearly, sound and loud, said, okay, we want to stay in the European Union, but we don't like this European Union with these rules. We would like a change. Obviously staying in the European Union because we don't like the Wilders option anyway, but change the European Union rules because we don't like them.